Hello, this is Action of History, and I'm here to put out an update on the current project, which is the game Toy Soldiers Action of History. I recently announced that you could check out this game's current beta form rules in the description of the channel. So if you go to the channel, click on the description, you can find the link. That is going to change and be in a better form soon, so it's easier to locate, easier to click on, and hopefully I can make it so I can put it under every video. Pardon, I'm just not very good at technical stuff, so it's going to take me a little while to figure things out like that. So, since I put that out, the game has gotten huge updates. Probably a solid 10 to 20 hours worth of work has been put into it since then. So what's been added? Where is it at? When is it going to be complete? As far as the basic rule set, should be done within a month or two, so that the game is 100% playable, and I won't have to use words like beta testing and stuff like that. It'll actually just be the full game available for free to download, and it's always going to be that way. I do want to find a way to publish it for myself, or print it from at FedEx or someplace that I can do some printing. I'm gonna see if I can print physical copies, and I'll probably sell the physical copies on eBay or something like that for like $5 on using it. There'll be a link in the description of the channel for that as well. So what's been added? What's going on with the game? What does it need? So I've been adding new eras of history for the game, new weapons, and new factions. So it's pretty much been huge, major overhauls. Just to get started with stuff that's been added, Nazi Germany has been added to World War II. They are unbalanced at this point, so it's going to take a little bit to get them into a balanced state. But they are done. Their stats just need a little bit of tweaking to make them a army that can actually pull off victories every once in a while. The Russians are now the next project for World War II, and they're going to be a close quarters shooting army. So they're really good at getting close in and using guns in close quarters. And the Germans are really good at defensive and rapid advances, like being able to just put their whole army right in front of you. So they're pretty good at lightning warfare, and they're pretty good on the defensive too. So that's what's added to World War II. The biggest thing that's come is World War I has officially been added as a brand new game and era within the rule set, and it's looking pretty good. I've played 4 games of it. I'm on the 5th now, and right now both armies have won 2 games, which is showing really high levels of balance. So World War I will be released very soon. With this whole it being done in a month or two, I expect that I'll just release everything at once, and that way you get a full Civil War game, a full World War I game, a full World War II game, and a full Vietnam game that are ready to go when you download the rules. So something I've been trying to do to go alongside this product is I've been contacting toy soldier companies and game companies to try to get them to sponsor or allow me to talk about, which I already kind of can do, but encourage me to talk about their products, because I have discovered that for this game there are some really wonderful options to use for the miniatures. I'll start with a few simple options. If you were getting into the game, the company BMC makes a decent army man, and my rule set will cover most stuff that they have. There's also a company called Toy Soldiers of San Diego. That's my very favorite toy soldier company. They make these really high quality, highly detailed army men. It is $25 for 16 of them. So if you're trying to do really big games, they're probably not ideal because it's going to cost you an arm and a leg to do so. Another company that I recently discovered is Armies in Plastic. And they are a mid-grade toy soldier. They are not the highest end, but you get 16 to 20 of them for $10, and you can get very specific with what they have. They probably have 20 different eras of history, and each era of history has like 5 to 10 different sets or more to help you build out your armies. So I was able to build World War One, two 48-man armies, one British and one German, for $60. And now I'm thinking about adding the French, and all it'll take to add the French to the game is $30 for an additional 50. Now you could play this game with 16-man armies, which means for $20 you could get everything you need from Armies in Plastic and have a perfect source to basically fill the ranks for this game. What I'm testing right now is massive games. My intention is to do a game of 160 or more toy soldiers on the table, and I'm going to see how well the game functions. I've tested it at 16 versus 16, 32 versus 32, and 48 versus 48. So I have yet to test it at above 60 versus 60 or anything like that. But so far, it seems to work even better as it gets bigger, which is surprising. I thought it would do the opposite. So the system works really well with big games as well. So those are the updates for the things that are coming out with the game. As far as what I'm working on to get it just right for everybody to be able to enjoy it, I'm going back and writing it from a perspective of you're a new wargamer who's never touched a wargame before, and this is your very first experience. I didn't write it that way initially. It was written for me. I didn't know I was going to release the rules to other people. I only am doing that because I am under the firm belief that this game is phenomenal. And I'm not trying to toot my own horn. I've played at least, 50 games of it now through all the different eras. And every time you complete a battle, you have this feeling like, wow, that was the best war game I've ever played. Every single time. Like, you never really feel like it can be bested. One sec. I'm sorry, I'm sick right now, so I'm having a little bit of a hard time breathing, and I'm coughing up a storm. I actually have two setups for the game right now behind me to give you an idea of what the game looks like when you play it and how good it can really be. I have to say my favorite thing is what I was just describing is I'll play a game of Vietnam with the action of history rules. So I play the game, and I have such a good time. I'm calling in airstrikes. I'm trying to get my men out. There's napalm, landmines, spider holes, traps, snipers, all that's going down. I've got Jimi Hendrix, music blaring in the background, and the Doors is playing, some This Is the End, like some perfect Vietnam music playing in the background. Fortunate Son, all that stuff. Well, I'm just so immersed. I'm like, wow, this Vietnam game, it's got to be the best of them. Then I was like, oh, I need to test this thing for the Civil War. So I set up the Battle of Rose Farm at Gettysburg, and it was surprisingly better than that Vietnam game. I was like, oh, wow, I guess Civil War is my best game. So then I moved to World War II for testing, and as soon as I finished a World War II game, I just kept saying that. And now that I'm testing World War I, I'm like, clearly this one's superior to the others. They're all really good, and I'm not trying to toot my own horn. I'm a wargamer who spends a lot of time making house rules and making his own little additions to games. I've done that and made an actual functioning game based on everything that I love about wargames, and I eliminated everything I don't like. For instance, I do not like in Warhammer that you have to roll to hit, roll to damage, then roll to see if they get saves. It just seems like a few too many rolls, and frankly, it doesn't make too much sense to me how often you're hitting things that don't get hurt. Genuinely speaking, in war, if you get hit with ballistics, it's a bad thing, and you're more than likely going to die. But in Warhammer, there's so many. I mean, you gotta, you start with your roll to hit. All right, one hits. Roll again. It damages. Roll again. Oh, he gets a save. It does nothing. Like, you just did two whole roll sets, only to discover that it doesn't do anything because of the save. So what I did is roll to hit. Okay, it hits. Enemy takes his luck save. He doesn't get it. He's dead. That's all there is. There's not. If you hit them, there's a very, very high chance they're just gonna die. Which one speeds up the game. You can get through alternate, like when you activate a unit, you can do that in far less than a minute every single time. Okay, I've got these 5 riflemen, so I've got 5 shots. You roll the 5 dice. 3 hit, you get some rerolls, and then, you roll for damage, and it's over. It's so quick. And I wanted the whole game to have this really reactionary, like, they shot at me, now I shoot at you, and you're just kind of pop, 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 pop. It kind of has that back and forth firefight feeling. The good news about the condition of where the game is at right now is that I actually do think it's functional. I checked out the rules yesterday. I even wrote a 2-page description of a battle report, like of how the entire game goes, and describes for a new player how to step by step play the game. So I'm really trying to make it something that anybody could pick up and play. It could be their first war game. It can be their last. It can be you're really into it. I am somebody who's played war games for 20 years, and I'm actually like not even sure what to do with my 40K stuff because frankly those rules are not very good. I'm just gonna say it. 40K's rules I didn't like. 10th edition and 9th edition I loved until I tampered with it and made my own version, and now I'm like, oh, activating your entire army at once never made sense. It still doesn't. From a balance perspective, you can't balance a game this way. It just does not work. Imagine playing chess where you were able to move every single piece you have on the first turn, whoever goes first. The guy who goes first always wins, and that's stupid. In my game, the guy who goes first can only do so much damage. It's very limited. He can only do so much. It's just, you can't win the game in the first turn or get advantages like that. The game is so balanced right now that the enemy can be put in a defensive posture, like inside of a fortress, a castle, and your attacking force can still win about 50% of the time. Even though they're outside of the fortress and have to siege their way in, they can still win 50% of the time with equal forces. Like, even when you try to give somebody an extreme advantage, it doesn't actually translate to like, oh, broken game. If you have poor tactics, you'll still lose. I think my favorite thing that I've changed is I took from Warhammer 40K the experience of playing as the Astra Militarum and made that my entire game. You are a fragile toy soldier that can be killed with, a fart in the wind. Like, you just are so easily defeated. I made the saves. You need a 6 to survive, and if you're behind cover, it's a 5+. So pretty much the best saves you're going to see in the game are 5+. So if you get hit 10 times and you roll 10 dice, and you'll say 3 or 2 5s and a 6, and the rest, aren't 5s and 6s, then your unit gets hit 7 times and most likely is pretty much destroyed, if not completely gone. The thing that I decided to take from Warhammer 40K was the fragility of the Astra Militarum and make an entire game about playing as something as fragile as that, and make it so you're just it's basically Astra Militarum versus Astra Militarum Wars in that sense, except it's got all kinds of reactionary rules. I made it really, really lethal. Everything you do pretty much has the ability to eliminate whole squads. Like, every gun, from a musket to a submachine gun, can really devastate the enemy. Like, if it only shoots once, you can kill a person outright. That's what you can do, is every time, there's no weapon that's going to damage somebody. They're either alive or dead. If the shot hits them, they don't succeed on the luck save, they're dead. And in my game, you knock over the toy soldier. You knock him down and you leave him there. And I actually just showed a video of how to play Toy Soldiers Action of History World War I, and it showed an entire battlefield just covered in dead bodies. That's what it looks like. Is by the end of it, it creates this effect where when you look down on it from a bird's eye view, you can see where all your men died because you just have them fall over when they die. It is not uncommon for entire units of up to 10 men to get blasted off the table before they even do anything. Just destroyed. And then your reaction is to then destroy one of their 10-man units. That's what makes it even. Is they'll kill a 10-man unit and then you'll just do the exact same thing right back. And it's like, unlike in Warhammer 40K, where by the time it's your turn, you've lost 30% of your forces, so you just can't hit back as hard as the other guy got to at the beginning. In this, you lose a squad, sure, but you have a squad that can totally do the exact same action at the exact same time. So he takes out 10, your turn comes up, you take out 10. He takes out 10, you just keep going back and forth. And you will take an advantage eventually if you have better tactics and placement of your soldiers. So what I'm getting at is the game is very close to a completed state, and then I want to release it as something that you can hold and flip open and see pictures and stuff like that. That's what I want. That's the goal. But for a while, it's just going to be a free download. I'm going to be working with Toothpick. We'll call him Toothpick Miniatures. He's making his own YouTube channel, and we're going to collaborate on how to have a make-your-own miniature section. He knows how to do that out of toothpicks. And my girlfriend has become an expert at making terrain out of just about anything. So we're going to have a make-your-own terrain section and make-your-own miniature section added to the book. It's kind of a fun area just for people to try to save money, because the whole mission statement is straight up, give the sophistication of war games to people without making them have to spend the money to get it. This is a game made by somebody obsessed with Warhammer 40k, Bolt Action, Blood and Valor, Blood and Plunder, Star Wars Legion. I've played Hero Clicks. I've played Kings of War, Warhammer Fantasy Kill Team, Horus Heresy, the Mars Attack miniature game, Dead Zone, Battle Masters. I'm dating myself with that one. Flames of War, it really, this list goes on. The Walking Dead board game or miniatures game, Zombicide, all those different games. I took those experiences and how much I loved them, and I mixed it with my own actual military experience as an Army combat medic with an infantry unit. So I took those two experiences, I took my real life experience and the wargaming experience, and I smacked them together and tried to make the ultimate infantry experience. And that's what my game is, the ultimate infantry experience. It's not the best war game as far as tanks and airplanes and stuff. It has a little bit of that, but it really leans towards infantry tactics and fighting in different eras. Finding out why it was more effective to fight in big lines in the Civil War and why it's ineffective only 60 years later or less in World War I, why those big lines are suddenly less effective. The game is designed for people who love history and who love wargaming or want to get into wargaming and just don't want to spend that obscene amount of money. So let's look at a cheap wargame table that you could easily produce for a very small amount of money. This right here is a terrain table that I recently produced alongside my girlfriend, and this is the Gallipoli campaign. I cannot say that word right, but it's during World War I. This is a Toy Soldiers Action of History World War I game. These are the Germans. They're in the trenches. You can see that's a trench my girlfriend made. We're going to be showing how to make stuff like that. And here's the Germans getting ready to assault over here, which are a bunch of British soldiers. So for all of the infantry that you see in this video, which there's quite a few right there, that was $60. Then as far as terrain goes, this was free, handmade. This was handmade. Ordered these on eBay for like 20 of them for like maybe $30 a long time ago. These are handmade from Michael's, just these fake plants that you can use. Ordered this bonsai tree for $10 on Amazon, and it also came with these flowers. My girlfriend made these sandbags. I made the barbed wire. This entire foam fortress is just a dishwasher packing styrofoam that we wore down, painted, added some the inside of a ripped open stuffed animal, and suddenly it looks like a fortress. So we're all about saving money here, but still having that same wargame experience. So when you get down to the troop level, look how good this starts to look. Look at that. You just have World War I troops hanging out in the trenches. And these guys moving in with the ladder. Yeah, that's just really cool. So you can see that even though they're cheap toy soldiers that are worth about $1 to 50 cents each, when you have them all together on a decent terrain table, it just starts to come together and you start to get what looks like a real war game. And yes, you could absolutely paint these and make the game look even better. So this is Toy Soldiers Action of History. This is what the game looks like when you start. This is deployment. This is where you set up a diorama and then just kind of jump into it. That's one of the rules that you're allowed to do. You and your opponent agree on a diorama setup, and then you just jump in and play. So that's what this is. And then we'll take a look at this. This is on the other side of the board. I've made this little wall here. This is a little miniature version of Stalingrad. Just a little battle on the outskirts. You've got Russians from Toy Soldiers of San Diego. It's a really good company. Makes the most high-quality toy soldiers you'll ever see. Then we'll go across the snowy battlefield, and you can see that the Germans are assaulting through the snow. They're assaulting through the battlefield, and all 4 of these men were gunned down by those Russians. So you can really see that's what the effect is as the game keeps going. You can tell there's some living men, and then those 4 were trying to move through the trees and were taken out, but the sniper survived. So that is what the game looks like. This is with the armies in plastic toy soldiers. They're a little cheaper. And you get 16 of them for $10. So not too bad. Not a bad little World War I option. I think these look pretty good, and I think it really does the game fine. And even if they're different colors, you can kind of use that as like, that's Alpha Squad, that's Bravo, and that's Charlie. It's pretty easy to identify your troops with that, which is one of the benefits. So this is what the game actually looks like. This is what deployment would look like. And it's just playing with toy soldiers on a table with some basic statistics to help you run the game and make it so you can have fun, balanced war games. And so it's coming out soon, and it's even going to explain how to mix the different eras and make it so you can test out what would happen if World War I soldiers fought in Vietnam. Like, you can basically test stuff like that, and it'll all be supported via the rule set that is going to be absolutely free, and hopefully you can print it out and have your own physical copy. Maybe we'll do it that way. So this was Action of History. I hope you guys enjoyed looking at this game, getting ready for updates. And eventually it's going to be released as a full thing that anybody can play for absolutely free. And then you can just, buy a couple of toy soldiers and start playing on your kitchen counter and take it from there. So, man, sorry, I got distracted by how good the table looks. It turned out pretty good. So, Toy Soldiers, Action of History, it's a game coming out. Are you interested? Does it seem stupid? Is it something you would ever play? Let me know in the comments. This was Action of History. Sign off.